Now, there is nothing more valuable for your current and future self than to discover who you are now and who you want to be going forward. Hi, I'm Jo Clark, and thanks so much for joining me today. This is the Redefining Midlife Podcast, a podcast designed for the 40-plus woman who is determined to challenge society's myths and beliefs around midlife. It's for the woman who is inspired and ready to define midlife her way. Join me each week as I chat to health and wellness experts for up-to-date information on how to live well as some special conversations with incredible everyday women redefining what midlife can look like. Here's to making our next half of life even better than the first. A big welcome to episode 84 of the podcast. Now, today I'm going to be sharing some insights that I know will make a difference to the lives of women. These are my top 3 essentials that I've learned personally and that I've learned from my own study and research. These top 3 essentials have been repeatedly mentioned by the world-leading guest experts that we've had on the podcast, as well as the amazing everyday women that I interview, and from the real-life experiences of the women that I coach and mentor. Now, these 3 essentials make a difference to how we experience our lives now and how we're going to experience our lives in the future. The whole reason I created this podcast is because I wanted women to know that in the middle of life, we have got decades of living ahead of us and our lives are far from over. We matter, but it's up to us to take action if we want to have that big, beautiful life that we all deserve. So the first essential is that we need to prioritize our health and wellness. We can't change what we've done in the past, but we can control what we do now and what we do in the future. Now, the research is clear. The experts have made it loud and clear. The years during and after the menopause transition are critical windows of health. So that's basically for women who are in their 40s, their 50s, and their 60s. And even though that message is loud and clear, somehow it's just not translating into people putting what they know into action. And we know this because today, 80% of us over the age of 50 have got 2 or more diseases at the same time. And it's estimated that 80% of those diseases are preventable. Now, we're living longer, but we're dying slower. And the Australian Bureau of Statistics reported that over the age of 65, a woman is more than 4 times more likely to suffer a severe disability limiting her daily functioning than a man of the same age. Now, I know at the age of 65, I want to be firing on all cylinders. I don't want to be suffering from a severe disability. Now, our health depends on the daily wellness habits that we've got. What we eat, how often we move our body, how well we sleep, how we manage stress, and so on. So we need to prioritise a mindset and a belief that says that healthcare is self-care. So that way, self-care isn't selfish. It's necessary. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, you're carving out time for relaxation, and that you're setting boundaries to avoid burnout. Your future self is absolutely going to thank you for it. Now, even if our wellness habits aren't ideal, it's been proven that modest changes can provide enormous health gains. And as Dr. Karen Coates explained in episode 82, the research happening in the science of epigenetics shows that we can switch genes on or off, and we can control the volume control by adjusting our wellness habits. As I've shared previously, I've been able to reverse my own osteopenia, a chronic bone disease that would have quickly progressed to osteoporosis if I didn't make adjustments to add strength training twice a week and prioritise adding calcium-rich foods to my diet. But I know only too well that a lack of time, being exhausted and having very little energy, as well as dealing with the needs of everyone else, can make prioritising our own health and wellness all but impossible. I've been there, but through my own trial and error and a lot of research, I've found a way and developed an easy, evidence-based framework that no matter where you are in your wellness journey or how busy and complicated your life or health needs might be, you can begin to make small, achievable, and lasting changes towards better health. Now, many women have successfully implemented this framework, and it's my goal to have other women to have the same success. So at the end of May, I'm going to be holding some free online workshops so that you can learn how to create your own personalized wellness plan that's going to suit your health needs and fit in with your own busy life. And I'll share more about these free workshops in upcoming episodes. But in the meantime, just think of one small step that you could take this week that's going to be great for your health. Now, the second essential that I strongly encourage women to do now is to invest in yourself. Now, by the time women are in midlife, most women have spent decades living on autopilot and just getting through each day. You might find you don't have the time, the space, or the energy to think about yourself, let alone your future. But make this time a time to decide whether you want to continue to live a life by default or whether you want to live a life by design. And because so many of your roles and priorities change in the middle of life, most women start to experience some identity shifts. It's completely normal, and even though it might take you by surprise, just know this is a time in life where it's a great opportunity that midlife hands us. It hands each and every one of us this opportunity. Whether or not we use it is up to us. Now, there is nothing more valuable for your current and future self than to discover who you are now and who you want to be going forward. And I won't lie, it can feel super uncomfortable to closely examine your needs and wants. Some people can even think it's a self-indulgence. But all I can say is that you've got this one beautiful life. Don't waste a minute of it. For me personally, there was a continual nagging feeling that I'd lost sight of who I was and what I wanted for myself. And after giving so much time and energy to my job and my family and to others for so long, like the majority of women, I had no idea what I wanted my future to look like. I just knew that things had to change. And if not now, when was that going to happen? Now, I could keep putting that feeling aside. I could have kept kicking it down the road. But the truth is, and the truth was, there will never be a perfect time to begin to invest in yourself. You just need to begin. Now, unfortunately, no one can tell you exactly how your future should look and what you should need to do to create it, because we've all got such unique life experiences, and it's going to look different for every woman. And if you're a frequent listener of the podcast, you'll have heard the conversations that I've had with so many incredible women. And every single woman highlighted their own journey, how they started, how they invested in themselves, and how their life is a continual work in progress. Everyone's just making things up as they go along. It's trial and error. And every life journey is as unique as every woman that I've spoken to. Your second half of life is something that you have the privilege to invest in, to create and design. And there are literally millions of women around the world who would take your opportunity in a heartbeat if it was given to them. Now, as I've shared in past episodes, my own journey of self-discovery and investing in myself began a number of years ago at a time when there was a lot going on in my life. Now, for me, it was a very slow process of exploring and reevaluating my passions, my interests, and my values at this stage in life. No use looking back to when I was in my mid-20s, because I was no longer in my mid-20s. My life had changed significantly. So I did whatever I could in those small pockets of time that I had, which, to be honest, wasn't much time, but it was absolutely better than none. I made some big, scary decisions, and I took massive action. I'll also add that it also took a massive amount of courage. The biggest and the most radical action was me leaving my decades-long safe and secure teaching career. I had absolutely no roadmap in front of me. I did a lot of soul searching, lots of extra study, and then I just began taking small steps towards a very different future that's still unfolding for me now. The mere fact that you're listening to me on my own podcast, which is currently in the top 5% of podcasts globally, just blows my mind. Now, obviously not everyone's going to need or want to take such big steps like I did or make such big changes. That's okay. But simply take some time to invest in yourself. You can do that by just sitting in stillness or perhaps starting to journal your thoughts. Start to journal your hopes, your dreams for the future. That is a great start. Just rediscovering the things that bring you joy, spending time in nature, or maybe even just traveling to a new place, that can spark ideas and help you get some clarity. I'm also a big believer in financially investing in myself. Now, I pay for support and guidance from coaches and mentors to help me gain clarity, to help me provide with accountability, and to help me reach my goals faster. My coaches and mentors have coaches and mentors, so I know that being coached and mentored by someone who is skilled, who has had similar life experiences, and who understands what you're going through is incredibly helpful to get you to that next level. Not knowing where to start or what to do, that's what's completely normal. And it's something that the women I support in my own coaching and mentoring programs experience. In every program that I offer, I give my ladies exercises and evidence-based information to improve their own lives. They get an easy framework and a process to go through. We work together to come up with small, manageable steps that fits their life so that they're clear on what to do and how to start taking action. And then they've got that added accountability and support as they make those small changes. Now, it makes a massive difference having that support. Deciding to invest in yourself can completely change your future. Nicole, one of my recent beautiful clients who was in my Reimagine coaching program, she found that it completely changed how she felt. At the end of the program, she said, and these are her words, "I have a more positive outlook. I feel equipped to keep learning and participating fully in my life. The benefits of spending time and money on yourself is letting yourself know how important and worthwhile that you are." Her advice to anyone considering joining a program like Reimagine is, do it. Make time to explore and participate in it fully. You are worth focusing on. And I couldn't agree with Nicole more, because you are. Now, the third key essential for women is investing in relationships that match the future you want. It can feel super lonely at times, but you don't have to navigate midlife on your own. Surrounding yourself with supportive and uplifting social connections is so helpful during midlife, especially if you're wanting to make changes in your life. Now, we know our mindset, our emotions, and our energy levels, the way we live our lives, are all affected by our family, our friends, people we work with, the people we have conversations with, and even the social media that we follow. So be selective. Choose your relationships mindfully so you can surround yourself with others who will support you. You probably heard the saying that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the time with. So whenever you can, surround yourself with those who cheer for you, who challenge you, and who push you to grow. Now, some women discover that they can't get support from their close family and friends. And I know it was something that I was finding really hard when I worked in a profession and a workplace that had a lot of unhappy people working in it. Day in, day out, year after year, it can take a toll on your energy and perspective. It can be a hard and a daunting reality. Some women who are wanting a different type of life might discover that their closest relationships aren't supportive and that they're a sign that they need to make some changes or to make some hard decisions. One other thing to keep in mind is that not everyone will embrace your new direction, but don't let that hold you back. Instead, use it as an opportunity to find and invest in new relationships. I heard leadership expert Robin Sharma talking about his new book on a podcast the other day, and he was talking about this very topic. That old idea that people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. He went on to say that sometimes if a person makes you feel bad when you're around them, then you might need to make the decision to let them go, or perhaps, as he calls it, have a selective association with them. So by that, he just means that rather than chatting with them or being around them every day, online or personally, doesn't matter, maybe you extend that to once a week, once a month, or even longer. Another thing you could start to think about is joining new groups that share your own interests or a new direction, whether that's online or in person. And these can be a great way to meet new people. starting a new hobby or restarting an old one, connecting with old friends you've lost touch with, joining a sporting club or yoga studio or gym are other ways that you can meet new people and surround yourself with a different energy. Since becoming clear on how I want my future to look, what I want to do, and who I want to be, I now intentionally choose so many different things that keep my focus clear. So, for example, I listen to a range and a mix of educational, uplifting, and positive podcasts. And I created one as well. And I also follow amazing midlife women on my social media feeds. I'm continually learning how I can improve my skills and my knowledge by taking courses, by reading books and articles. And I also do this by having my own coach and mentor and being in communities of other like-minded women. I've created a beautiful business that attracts other women who want to lead a bigger, more expansive life. Bring more of that into your life. All of these things have helped shift my perspective, my understanding and my knowledge. But more importantly, all of these things has allowed me to be surrounded by other incredible people who support me, as well as be amongst people and women who match the future that I want for myself. And when you add all of these things together, they support me to create and live a life by my design and not live a life by default. And there you have it. 3 simple essentials for midlife women to embrace now before it's too late. So, ladies, prioritize your health and your wellness. Invest in yourself and discover who you are now. And surround yourself with relationships that are going to match your future that you actually want. Separately, each of these 3 essentials are going to improve your life. But if you implement and prioritize these 3 essentials together, you will completely transform your life. You can have a look at the different ways that I offer these 3 essentials by heading to my website, joclarkcoaching.com, and you'll see my online health and wellness membership Better Than Before, as well as links to my different coaching programs, including the Reimagine program that I spoke of earlier. Now, if you've got a question, feel free to reach out to me in a DM on socials or send an email to me at jo@joclarkcoaching.com. Now, as Bronnie Ware shared in her book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, the number 1 regret was I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. I hope this episode has given you something to think about, or even better, work on. Let's live our precious lives to the fullest. Until next week, take care. Thanks so much for listening and sharing your time with me today. I'd love you to hit subscribe on Apple Podcast or your favorite podcast app to keep spreading these empowering messages. Please share this podcast with other incredible midlife women in your world. Join me again next week for another Redefining Midlife conversation. Thanks again for tuning in.